Hi guys, I've arrived in the legendary city of Istanbul. Right now I am in Sultanahmet Square, which is the heart of the old city. Behind me is the Hagia Sophia. In front of me, which you can't see right now, is the Blue Mosque. Now, just to give you a little historic context, the Greeks first arrived here around the 7th century BCE, and they colonized the area, and they named it after their leader, King Byzas, so it became Byzantine. And then around the 2nd century BCE, Byzantium became an independent city in the Roman Empire. And about the 2nd century of the current era, then Byzantium made the mistake of backing the wrong guy in one of Rome's civil wars. The winner got kind of pissed off. He pretty much destroyed the city. But then they rebuilt, and it fully became under Rome's control. Now, about 100 years after that, a fellow named Constantine became emperor, and he came here. He was the first emperor to actually rule from Byzantium. He quadrupled the size of the city, and he tried to name it New Rome. That didn't stick, but Constantinople did, and that was the start of the Byzantine Empire. Now, fast forward another 100 years, Rome pretty much collapses. It's been sacked by the Goths and really is nothing more than a backwater. So Constantinople is now the sole capital of the Roman Empire. It stays in Roman control. The next time it was sacked was until around 1204, when the Fourth Crusade sacked the city. They weren't, while they were good at attacking cities, they weren't necessarily good at ruling them. So their rule only lasted 60 years before the Byzantines came back. And then in 1453, the Ottomans conquered the city under Mehmet the Conqueror. Now, then the Ottoman Empire went from 1453 all the way to 1918, when it collapsed after World War I. Then in 1923, a guy named Mustafa Kemal, he led the country to independence, and at that point he renamed the city of Constantinople, he renamed it Istanbul. So where did the name Istanbul come from? Well, it dates all the way back to around the 10th century, when foreign visitors and tourists would come to the city, and they would hear the Greek-speaking locals refer to it as Istanbul. Now, so they were a little bit confused, thinking, well, I guess that's the name of the city now, and would go home and tell everyone Istanbul is the name of the city. Well, Istanbul, when you translate it, actually just means to the city or in the city. So basically it'd be like me saying I'm going to the city, meaning I'm going into Washington, D.C. So that's all it meant. But when Ataturk took control, he wanted to really separate himself from the Ottomans, so he changed the name, officially changed it to Istanbul. This is Gulhani Park. It was once part of the imperial gardens of the Topkapi Palace, where the Ottoman sultans lived. And so here's a fun fact for you. You've all seen pictures of tulips in the Netherlands. Well, they're not actually native to the Netherlands, but guess where they are native to? Well, right here. They're actually a gift from the Ottoman sultans to the Dutch. And actually, the tulip is the national flower of Turkey, and in Turkish, tulip actually translates to turban. Okay, let's have a little geography lesson now. The body of water you see in front of you is the Bosphorus. It is a 19-mile strait that connects the Sea of Marmara, which is over here, with the Black Sea over there. Now you see on the other side of the Bosphorus, that is actually Asia. And the city that you see over there is still Istanbul. Istanbul is the only city in the world that actually sits on two different continents. Now, if we go over here, you'll see an inlet. This is called the Golden Horn. And this is about 4.5 miles long and kind of splits the European side of Istanbul. And during the Byzantine times, there was actually a huge chain that went right across here, right across the mouth of it, to protect the navy that was in ports along the Golden Horn.